JNA, right? JNA, which is a subsidiary of Jasmy, but if anything, wow, don't dismiss it at all, right? I got more into this. So they are a Japanese software development and engineering company. And again, if you've been following our recent deep dive, especially the one that was released, I think maybe like an hour, something like that, before tonight's show, um, it just makes sense to research more of, um, Mr. Morita, right? Because basically through engineering and so on. So you see how this all comes together. JNA is based in Yokohama, Japan. JNA provides a wide range of services. They include software development, software integration, technology consulting, technical support, strategic partner, of course, of Jasmy. Now, listen to this for a second. The two companies entered into a partnership back in 2021, but it's still solid. Okay. And basically speaking, it was to commercialize innovative IoT and blockchain solutions. Now, in regards to this partnership, and I know that some of this is verbatim, but it needs to be mentioned. JNA provides Jasmy with software development and integration services, as well as consulting and technical support services. I guess that was part that was already re-mentioned. Come on, Mr. Neo X Tricks. That's okay. But it says Jasmy, meanwhile, provides JNA with his blockchain platform and data tech. Now, here's the thing. I did take a little bit more of an extensive deep dive into this, and I found some good, solid stuff. If you hold Jasmy, you're going to want to pay attention to some of the stuff. This partnership allows two companies, or the two companies, to combine their strengths, expertise for more complete, innovative solutions to their customers. Here's some specifics in regards to the collaboration. JNA developed an IoT solution for Japanese manufacturing companies. This solution uses Jasmy's blockchain, because we always talk about, well, it's one thing to have a partnership, but is it actually going to utilize the actual technology, right? Well, here's an example. Because yesterday we did give the example of the ones in regards to, we talked about Transcosmos, we talked about some other ones, right? Obviously, I'm kind of drawing a blank, but some big players, and then we even looked up the net worth of them and so on. So it was a big deal, right? But this whole thing of this co-development in regards to Jasmy and JNA for data management solutions for Japanese utility companies. Now, I want that to resonate in your head for a brief moment. They have a solution that uses Jasmy's data technologies to improve the efficiency and resilience of business information systems. These two companies work together to develop and commercialize IoT and blockchain solutions that improve just that, the security and efficiency, obviously, of businesses and so on. So, Max, what do you have? Great question. I have a lot more than meets the eye, right? Not try to reference Transformers, but it's good stuff. So, this was something that was mentioned 3 months ago from, I'm not going to mention the guy's name, nothing against him. But it's just his name's, anyway. D blankety blank, okay? Jasmy partner, Japanians, or I probably not pronounce it right, Japanians, I can't pronounce it. AKA JNA, I'm just called JNA. It says one bit of a deep dive. It says, basically speaking, they're of course involved in AI, edge computing, and we reference all the stuff about AI and edge computing many times, done deep dives, right? But JNA is part of Japan Deep Learning Association. There's a medium piece on it. I'll get into that in a bit. But here's some of their largest firms. Siemens, Apple, Toyota, Panasonic, right? And of course, Sony. Again, all these guys talk to each other, right? And especially if you have former executives, you better believe they talk to each other a lot behind the scenes. Deep Learning Association, that JNA is basically part of, also has NVIDIA, Deloitte. We talked about Deloitte. Fujisoft, which is a Bijit client, by the way. Also, remember, Google is also a Bijit client partner. Of course, even mentions Google. So again, JNA also has that Google partnership. Bijit has a Google partnership. Bijit with Jasmy. I mean, again, guys, all these guys talk to each other. And what's the main thing? Why do they all talk to each other? The whole main goal, Society 5.0, a collective group working towards one major goal, one major task. So GNA, been a member since 2020 in regards to the JDLA membership. And yeah, like he says, he doesn't think anybody's brought up in the community. Well, that's in regards to Reddit, and that's understandable. But I'm glad he did bring it up. Now, why mention this to you guys? Because it's actually a very, very big deal. It may not seem like it's a big deal on the surface. But trust me, it's a big deal. I want to share this with you. Again, later on, I'll probably chop it up. But here's the thing, right? Deep learning. This is big because I've gotten a lot of mixed emotions when I go out on a limb and I mentioned the whole thing of Google. Some people are like, oh, that's a nothing burger. Okay, look into this. We're going to play this. 2 minutes, 11 seconds. Japan's Giga School program partners with who? Google for education to bring devices to all students. Who was interviewed? Who did a deep dive in regards to Kazumasa Sato and the Giga School concept? Remember that interview that he had? Yeah, let's follow this up. And who references this? Plain as day, it comes from who? Google. When? 2 years ago. But it's there. It's there. Check this out. Let's go ahead and play this. Smash that like. 2 minutes, 11 seconds. Japan's Giga School program partners with Google for education to bring all devices, right, together, basically. Crazy stuff. Here we go.
これまで日本の学校の現場ではあまりパソコンやそして機器というものを使ってきませんでした。日本の子どもたちを勉強のために、または自分自身いろいろな調べ物をするために、そして今回オンラインの授業を受けるために使うというふうに方向転換をさせていただいたわけです。ギガ、グローバル、イノベーション、ゲートウェイ for all すべての子どもたちのためのゲートウェイを準備するという構想です。これで一人一台のパソコンまたはタブレットをしっかりと確保した上で一人一人の子どもたちの学びを進めていきたいと考えています。
Chromebook を導入してからはクラスルーム、スプレッドシート、スライド、フォームなどを活用して子ども中心の子どもがワクワクできる学びに変わっていると思います。子どもたちは共同しながらお互いにとって最適な解を見つけていくということを身をもって学べる環境になったなと思っています。
Google for Education は共同的な学び、コスト、セキュリティなどあらゆる面で高く評価されています。ギガスクール構想が目指す教育環境に最も適しているとして、日本の約半数の自治体や教育委員会が採用を決定いたしました。今年いよいよ最新の教育環境が教育現場でも整備されて、子どもたちが一人一台 Chromebook を使い始めることになります。Google for Education を通じて主体的で対話的で深い学びというのが日本中に一気に広まっていきます。
学びたいことや興味に応じて個別最適化された学びを実現したいなと思います。評価や学年を超えるようなそんな挑戦も試みたいなと思っています。
All right, pretty cool to share that. Obviously, I have some more. Let's get into this. So the next part I want to share with you, I mean, obviously that was cool to see an actual video, and I realized they're speaking Japanese, but you have subtitles, right? If they didn't have subtitles, obviously I wouldn't play it. But there's more in regards to this. So this is reference from Facebook, believe it or not. Let's pull this up. Next go. Why am I bringing this to you? Well, it states right here. If anything, I guess I'll blow it up a little bit more. Next go talks about the future workstation. And this is back about roughly a year ago, but it says is not limited to remote work, but a hybrid of different usage scenes and environment of PCs due to the recent working style changes and Giga School concept. Yes. Why is that so big? Well, like it says, startup SME is shifting to monthly renting data as a service. If I'm reading that right. Data as a service. beginning with a selection of wide range devices and accessories that are offered as a service instead of a purchasable product. The services and devices will be sourced, supported, and managed by providers securely in any network environment, regardless of location, especially for those platforms which is blockchain equipped. Now, you may be thinking, why put out, why even reference this? Well, for one, GigaSchool concept, you're also going to see where Jasmy's referenced, but rentable PCs sounds crazy. But when I think about the concept of a PDL, if you have multiple people using the device, then if anything, that's even that much more utility in motion, if you think about it, right? Getting more into this, it does reference, for instance, Jasmy. And I'm going to show you guys this for a second. And this actually, let me hit the back button real quick. Yep, there it is. So Jasmy Global basically is the ones that originally mentioned this, right? And they posted it on Facebook. And again, reference to GigaSchool concept, excuse me. Getting more into this part, talks about, for instance, Kazumasa Sato, right? March 31st, 2022. States basically speaking that, where is this? Their aim is to make this easier and more convenient to use. Jasmy Secure PC that can be used with peace of mind anytime, anywhere, working remotely. Device as a service. Excuse me, I thought it was data. I was wrong on that. Device as a service, excuse me. Hereinafter referred to as DAAS, my bad, which can be used as a monthly fee by renting the PC itself at the same time as using the secure PC. So again, I mean, you have multiple people, using these PCs. Think about it. If you have at least a couple, I mean, even just two compared to one, I'm looking at it from the perspective of that's even double the utility if you think about it being in motion. Call it what you want, right? But it goes on to also mention in regards to GigaSchool concept, not limited to remote work, which has spread rapidly due to COVID. The use is seen and environment of PCs are changing significantly due to recent work style reforms and the GigaSchool concept. So again, tying this all in. Now, if you're wondering, what about Jasmy? Well, along with this, the blockchain-equipped Jasmy Secure PC, which allows you to use your PC safely and securely in any network environment, regardless of location, has been highly evaluated since the service basically launched. So can we just stop the FUD with this? At the end of the day, we just confirmed once again that Google connection. It's just, you got to look more into how it's actually connected. Boom, there's another example. And I already did GigaSchool concept, I think, at least 2 times, right? Now this is the 3rd time. Again, for the naysayers, all you got to do is just simply look more into it if you take the time to do so. Most people won't. They'll just take what's on the surface. Now, getting into this, I want to share this with you guys. If you're wondering about the whole thing in regards to JNA, back to this, right? This is from the medium of Jasmy. The focus of this specific cooperation of Jasmy and JNA will be on how to use JNA's AI tech and embedded device development capability to empower and upgrade the personal data locker. Isn't that the whole point, right? Utility in motion? Right, absolutely. Of course, provided by Jasmy, and the new technical solutions explored based on this advanced concept will certainly be, further validate this joint R&D and commercialization trials. That sounds really cool, which is what they're looking forward to. Of course, this is the guy who's the CEO of JNA. That goes on to mention, industry authorities believe that both JNA's hardware and software development capabilities and expertise in the AI field and Jasmy's core services, as well as its IoT platform services, which can safely, securely, and effectively manage IoT device data, will provide solid technical foundation for both parties to explore the bleeding edge technology solutions of just that, edge AI, in the future, along with dramatic changes to the whole darn industry. Now, why do we need to get into a little bit more about this? So for one, they're proud about this whole thing of AI and IoT. When I look more into this, it's like this spells out everything that Jasmy Chain is basically trying to do with AI and IoT. But this part, especially in the field of manufacturing, has been the hidden champion behind the label Made in Japan. It's a Japanese high-tech software system developed company. JNA has grown to become what? The industry's top name in key areas such as AI, cloud, and even IoT. That is interesting. And last but not least, maintains, as in JNA, close business relationships with many well-known Japanese global corporate customers, including Apple, Toyota, Panasonic, of course, Sony, at this point, right? And Siemens. I'm not going to call it the other one because that just doesn't sound right. Achieving full year sales of nearly 70 million in 2020. Okay, that was a while back, right? Look what's tagged here: IoT, decentralization, crypto, Jasmy, and Jasmy Coin. Now, that is all impressive. And if anything, if I was a person watching like you, I'd be like, all right, that sounds good. But does he really have something really, really solid? Yeah, I do. So I went right to the JNA service section of the JNA site. And I just decided to look more into this. And I thought, you know what? This is something I think people are dismissing. Why? Because sometimes you just see new partnerships and you're like, oh, okay, that's cool. When Moon. It's not about when Moon. It's more like, when do we see solid utility? And if anything, is it tied to the bigger players that are trying to be part of the new infrastructure? And we talked about new infrastructure, right? We did a deep dive about it, and we did that Google connection. So since the founding of JNA, they have continued to take on the challenge of accelerating the evolution of tech, such as cutting-edge technologies, AI, IoT, cloud services, you name it, right? They got all these stuff here, but this part where they talk about infrastructure, right? Pay attention to this part. They, as in JNA, provide comprehensive services covering everything from network and server design and construction to operation and maintenance at a wide range of fields, including telecommunication carriers, finance, distribution, and government offices. Now, this gets really, really good. So for one, here's a reiteration of these partnerships that we talked about. Again, shout out to NeoXTricks, give them a follow. And you do see listed here Toyota, Nissan, Panasonic, Apple, Hitachi, Canon, you name it, right? Honda. I don't know. I mean, some people know about NEC. I used to have an NEC monitor. It was my first monitor back in the late 90s. But anyway, Sony, of course, Mitsubishi, right? All impressive. Nothing to dismiss, basically. Getting more into this, I want to take you to this right here, and this may very well take the cake. So why would I show you this? Well, this comes from markets.ft.com, basically like the data report. You do see a little bit that's mentioned in regards to their net income and what they pull in and so on. So a little bit about the company. Like it says, they are a Japanese-based company mainly engaged in the development of advanced engineering. Again, reference who? Mr. Morita. That's why we do so much of a deep dive on him, right? But in revenue, they bring in 9.12 billion. They have net income in regards to Japanese yen of 539.42 million. They're incorporated back in 1999. They employ a little over 1,300 employees. Doesn't seem like a lot, but at least a decent amount. They participate in projects in 4 fields such as software, listen to this part, infrastructure, mechatronics. The company is engaged in the provision of technology for projects in new areas such as artificial intelligence. Obviously, we mentioned that. So all this stuff is very well, worth pointing out, right? And when I went further down, I saw some of the companies, and whatnot, but institutional holders. Now, this part, I thought, okay, there's this institutional holder of Atlantis Investment Research Group. Now, this is recent. As of July 31st, 2023. Now, why point them out? Again, connecting the dots. Check this out. Going over to their site, Atlantis, look what it says. Since its beginning, their clients' interests have always been their top priority. lasting partnerships and so on, right? It all sounds good, but they specialize in institutionalized infrastructure. And this is something we talk about, not just about Jasmy. We talk about with a lot of the stuff with ISO 222 related coins, tokens, projects, right? We just did a segment, obviously, about quant. So we're all about institutional infrastructure. It says, while Atlantis is a boutique, they have devoted significant resources to institutionalize their infrastructure. Think about this for a second. So Atlantis, you have what we talked about earlier in regards to JNA. It's something worth, again, sometimes the answers are there if you dig deeper into it. So this connection to JNA, to institutionalize their infrastructures with the systems required of an asset manager that has served global institutions such as pension funds, foundations, endowments, sovereign wealth funds, insurance companies, financial institutions, other institutions. Their teams are staffed in-house for risk management, legal compliance, equity trading, operations. I mean, this is a big deal. Marketing, investing, relations, as well as corporate functions such as finance, information tech, and human resources. But your main key takeaway should be these two things. Institutionalized infrastructure, because they want to team up with the systems that require such a, assets and so on. Tie it into the whole concept of IoT. You got the AI connection, obviously, with JNA, also with Jasmy. So I like the idea that it literally says plain as day, institutionalized infrastructure. And we also know that Jasmy has now branched out into finance democracy. So do you now understand a little bit even more than you did before of how, there's a bigger picture here, right? Big stuff. Let's pull this up. This is worth pointing out. So we talked about last summer in regards to Atlantis. Were you aware Atlantis Japan said Nippon Active Value had net assets of, listen to this, 165.8 million at June, as of June 30th, while Nippon Active Value said Atlantis Japan had a net assets of roughly 80 million pounds, British pounds, as of July 31st. Interesting, right? Combine both of those. Let's pull this up for a second. And it comes out to be this. About roughly $2 million short of $300 million. So well worth over $250 million. And again, another thing tied into the whole greater scheme of things when it comes to Jasmy. Say what you want. Know what you have. Know why you hold it. The research trumps FUD 110%. I think JNA is a bigger deal than most people think. And if anything, I'm glad to bring it to you guys once again. Please smash that like if you haven't done so already. If you're not subscribed, please, by all means, subscribe. This is the new channel. It's going to continue to be the home, not moving anywhere ever again.